Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be telling you how to become a proficient electronics and electrical engineer. So I've divided the video into 5 parts and I'll tell you brief about each part, what to do and how to proceed further. I'll also share some resources so that you can refer them and become proficient. So the first part is fundamentals. The most important and the most basic thing to do is be clear with all the fundamentals. So being an electronics and instrumentation engineer, you should know everything about basic circuitry, AC bridges, various sensors, various measuring instruments used in industries, conditioning circuits and all that. So microprocessors. So for this, there is a book by an author called A.K. Sawhney. It's called Electrical and Electronic Measurement and Instrumentation. That book is a huge book with over 1300 pages, I guess. And that book basically will help you clear everything that a core instrumentation or an electronics engineer would need to know in both the academic point of view and also the placement point of view. So I have the book here. This is the book, and just look at this. It's so thick. So you can just go through the book because it covers everything, all the subjects, biomedical, microprocessors, and every small basic to advanced course that you need to learn in the 4 years. So I would suggest you to read this book from the starting of your first year itself and read it slowly, understand each and every topic. So I'll link all the books down in the description box below, both the book link as well as the PDF, so you can either buy or download, whichever you feel like. The second book is called Electronic Principles by Albert Malvino. So that book covers basic components, passive elements like resistors, capacitors, inductors, and also goes more deeper into op amps, how to choose an op amp, how to choose a diode, then ADCs, that is analog and digital converters, and many more advanced topics. So that book will also help you in both your academic and placement point of view. Moving to part 2, which is coding. And coding, the most important language as an electrical or electronics or an instrumentation engineer, is C or embedded C. And both are actually not the same. C programming is the normal C which you guys daily write. But embedded C is basically the C programming for embedded microcontrollers or microprocessors that you have to code in. So both are different and embedded C is quite hard. But I would suggest you to have or be proficient in C language. So again, there is a book for that too. And it's called Data Structures in C in Depth by the author S.K. Srivastava and Dipali Srivastava. So that book covers every basic to advanced data structures and theories that are in C with programming. So that book I will suggest you. And the second language, if you want to sit in software companies or IT companies, you can most preferably learn Python. People also learn Java, but you can learn Python too. So any of these, and those books too, I'll be linking down in the description. The third one is projects, and this is one of the most important thing that plays an important role in your resume, and you should do it yourself. DIY projects, do it yourself. So like the most basic to start with is Arduino. So just buy an Arduino, buy a few sensors, buy a breadboard, and try learning how to code on the Arduino microcontroller. And you can make projects. Then you can improvise that by adding IoT. IoT is Internet of Things, where you basically connect your whole system to a real-time world and get outputs. The second thing I would recommend is maybe pick microcontrollers. So in microprocessors, you might be learning about 8051, which is basically an Intel-based controller, which is a very old microcontroller. But right now there is something called PIC, PIC or PIC. So those development boards you can learn, and that you can code on embedded C. I have this. So this is a PIC microcontroller board, which this is your PIC IC, and this is embedded with various sensors. You can, if you have a look, I'll leave the link to this also, and you can learn how to code that too and build projects for your and put it in your resume. The third thing is ARM-based microprocessors, which is a kind of advanced level of projects, which you might be learning this in your end of second year or your fourth sem. But you can just start looking into the basic fundamentals on how to code on ARM and what it is, all that. The fourth thing that plays an important role is review papers and research papers, because these two also play a very important role when you're applying for masters abroad. So they'll see what kind of research you have done or in your subject basically. Review papers are basically you take a collection of 10 or 20 or even more, 50, 100 research papers and write a compact review or write a basic comprehensive review, so that you compare. So giving you an example, there are a lot of healthcare monitoring systems that people have built. So they would have written research papers. You basically take like 15, 20 or how many ever research paper you want. You read through the papers and then you write a review stating that these were the protocols used, these were the sensors used, maybe build a comparison table and compare each and every healthcare system and basically conclude that which one of this is better. So you can also use a review paper to improvise your project. So if you're building a healthcare monitoring system, then you can compare few existing ones, write a review paper, get a conclusion, and then work on that conclusion. So if the best of those healthcare systems have say any shortcomings or any issues that maybe like not efficient or lag at some place, you basically create a new project which basically fixes all those and then write a research paper on it, and this will play a very important role in your masters. And the fifth and the most important thing is learning industrial instruments and learning how to use them, because in an industry or even in projects you might need them. The most basic one is a multimeter. The multimeter, you'll have a ton of modes. You can measure your voltmeter, voltage readings, current readings, or maybe continuity detection, which basically means that whether there is a complete connection between any two points of a circuit. So these are all used in testing purposes in an industry. So that's why you use multimeter, and you can just buy a decent multimeter and you can just learn how to use that. And also learn reading about data sheets. Read the data sheet of the multimeter, what it does, what its range is. Also read data sheets of various other microcontrollers or ICs and learn how it works. And it doesn't mean that you have to read the whole data sheet. There are data sheets with like 50 pages, but you should read the ones that are important, maybe the current rating, the voltage rating, what it does, or how much voltage can it take, what's its power supply required, all that. And the second most important device is an oscilloscope, and oscilloscope or analyzer is very much important in an industry point of view, which basically analyzes waveforms. So if you have an embedded system or a microcontroller based development board and you want to check whether it's working or not, you want to generate its waveforms, generate signals, and you want to compare, so an oscilloscope is the way to go. You should learn how to use that, and very much important. Another thing, you should also learn how to use a power supply. Usually we use batteries, normal 9-volt batteries or 12-volt batteries to power our circuits, but the power analyzers and function generators, they basically provide power. You can change the voltage accordingly. They be dials, so you can change voltage and current. So yeah, these three things I would like you to read and understand how they work. So that's all for today's. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if there are any doubts, please leave it down in the comment section below, and all the links I'll be attaching down in the description box below, so that you can refer them by if you would like to build projects or refer the resources. And yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.